Sentry, we help our customers with their store layout and design. We've had 40 years of experience in it, so we've got to see kind of the do's and don'ts and learn ourselves and learn from our customers as well. Rob, why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure, yeah. So we've laid out every different type of store over the years, whether it's 400 square feet or 4,000 square feet. The store layout and how you lay out the store is super important to the overall functionality of the store, right? Sales are about transactions. It's really a math equation, okay? If I want to do X amount in sales, right, I just don't do that one day. It's transaction plus transaction plus transaction all the way down. Well, the more transactions you can do on an hourly basis, the more money you can do on an annual basis. So the flow and the functionality of your business, whether it's people walking in, walking up to a window, whatever it be, directly leads to how many sales you can do. If you have bottlenecks in your system and in your layout and your design, you're going to have bottlenecks that prevent you from getting to a sales number that you want to get to.
So you mentioned flow. I know in a recent video we said something about getting people to the store. Now when they're in the store, how do we make it easy for them to get the attention of the product and then make it easy for them to eat? So basically that's what we're doing when we're helping with the layout.
Yeah, there's a front of the house aspect and there's a back of the house aspect, right? The back of the house is how quickly we can produce products, is the flow of our machines, our Sunday bar, or whatever it is that we're making, right, based on our menu. Is the functionality and the flow of that conducive to our employees being able to turn over those products and get them out to the customer, right? That's the back of the house. The front of the house is when people walk in a store, not even from a marketing aspect, just from a flow production aspect of it. You know, are we leading them in the direction to kind of bottleneck them out and through? Are we leading them into a direction where we're able to market the products we want to make that we know we're going to sell? Is our menus positioned where people can see it and order? We don't want people standing in line for 10 minutes and then getting to the register where they're ordering queue and having no idea what they want to order. You know, we have to take advantage of when they're in line, that they're making that decision. So when they get to your employee, they're ready to order.
So we want the lines, but we also want to be able to move the lines.
We need to take advantage of lines from a marketing standpoint and from an ordering standpoint, okay? Again, do the math. If I could have somebody, the average wait in my line is 3 minutes, right? Then I could serve 20 transactions an hour from one employee, okay? If it's 4 minutes, it's 15 transactions an hour. Okay, who's gonna make more money? I remember years ago, I was walking with a customer on the boardwalk and there were two different stores. And both lines were equally long. I'm like, man, these people are making so much money. And I said, that store is gonna be out of business in 2-3 years. Like, why? It's like, look at their line versus this line. And store A had the same amount of line serving people in less than 3 minutes. Store B, it was 9, 10, 11 minutes in the same length line. So imagine you're like the third or fourth in that line. It's huge. It's a huge difference. And unfortunately, that store, I mentioned, was out of business in a couple of years because they just couldn't generate the revenue. The lines were too long. So when we do store layout and design, it's really about making sure that the flow works, the function works, not just in the front of the house, but the back of the house.
So Rob, how does third party affect store layout?
Yeah, with DoorDash and Grubhub and Uber Eats, it's a huge avenue for our customers. And it's really something, if you're not taking advantage of it, you need to be taking advantage of it. But it's important, you're trying to either infuse that into an existing store that you've had for years, and now it's like, well, okay, how can I get the DoorDash driver, the Uber Eats driver that's not going to interrupt my line or interrupt my window? With new stores, we've literally kind of carved out a piece. Hey, this side window is going to be for third-party pickup. It's going to be for call ahead. It's going to be for takeout orders. With new stores, we have to infuse a way to incorporate those different avenues without interrupting your current flow and function. And it's important. And I wish I had an easy answer, but because there's so many different designs of these stores, the key element you want to remember is, okay, how can I get that driver to come and pick up without interrupting or upsetting my current customer line? But those avenues are so important to take advantage of because the next generation, that's how they're buying. Okay. Yeah, I'd love everybody to come to the store and see the wonderful colors and my customer service, but there's a certain segment of population that doesn't want to leave their couch. They want the product to show up on their doorstep. Like the stork just dropped off ice cream. Okay, if that's what they want to do, that's great. They're not quality oriented, they're convenience oriented. Well, the convenience doesn't just end at them. It really begins at how convenient it is for the drivers to get the product.
So if it's not convenient for the driver themselves, you might see less success in these areas.
100%. I mean, if it's hard for the drivers for these different, whether it's Uber Eats, DoorDash, Grubhub, whatever it is, if it's not convenient for them to pick up, you're going to start to see your notoriety on these different channels go down.
So that's what we help incorporate with the layouts.
Yeah. Super important both from your regular line, third party. You need to make it easier for people to buy and easier for your employees to serve. And that way you could do more transactions in a shorter time period. So when we do store layout and design, put aside the marketing aspect. This is just about flow and function. It's all about how can we drive sales through the function and flow of our store.
All right, so you mentioned marketing. So how do we incorporate like different profit centers for products in that?
Well, when you do profit centers, whether like it's like a novelty, like take-home cakes or pints of ice cream, we want to think of, you go to a supermarket, where do they put the milk?
In the back.
In the back, right? Because that's what they sell the most of. So milk and bread are always in the back. What do you have to walk through? You have to walk through everything else. So when we have these different profit centers in your store outside your customer products, maybe like a lot of grab and go stuff, novelties, we want to have them in a place where people are going to see them. We don't want to have them in the front of the store after they already bought and they're walking out, they see it. It does us no good. We want to have it where to get to where they need to order, they're walking by this grab and go stuff. It's super important. It gives it the exposure and then you'll see the sales. It's like you go to any convenience store like a Wawa, where's the coffee? It's in the back.
Yeah.
And where do you have to walk through to get it? You walk through all their hot food. What do they make money on? Hot food and coffee. So the grocery, who cares? They're not making any money on that. But it's the same thing in the premise in the ice cream store. We want to really evaluate your store, look at your different profit centers, and infuse all these different elements into a store layout so you can serve customers, you can serve them quickly, the customers can decide quickly, and you can take advantage of the different profit centers that you have.
So the store layout goes with the flow of service, the speed of service, also third party, and it could be its own marketing.
Yeah, you can do it. And then look, if you have a drive-through, right, that's another element that, okay, now we have to be even faster in the drive-through than we have to if people are walking up or walking in. So, it's not just, hey, I have 1,000 square feet, let's just put the pieces in place like Tetris and let it flow. No, there's a science to it, and that's what we do.
All right, that's been another Sentry Equipment Short. We'll see you next time.